Hello everybody once again. My name is Tyler Funk. This is for sports law class, William Woods University Online, EDU 503. This is case study 7.1, and the case that I am going to be doing today and talking about is United States Supreme Court Jackson versus Birmingham Board of Education, number 02-1672, argued on November 30th, 2004, decided on March 29th, 2005. When looking for cases to do in this week 7, I came across this one that looked very interesting. The first aspect that caught my eye with this case is that it had to do with Title IX. And last week we learned about Title IX in this class, and I have had other classes in the past that have taught me a lot about Title IX. So I just thought it was another great thing to present about because it's something that I've learned a lot since I've been doing my master's program online. After reading cases like this, I realized how important knowledge about Title IX is and what it means and how it can be, suits can be avoided. Facts about the case. Just like all case studies, it is important to understand the facts whenever you are looking at a case study. Roderick Jackson was a teacher in Birmingham, Alabama, at a public school. Jackson brought a suit against the Birmingham Board of Education after saying that the board had retaliated against him and fired him because he complained about sexual harassment at the high school. The high school complained about the high school that he was at was named Ensley High School. He was a physical education teacher and a girls basketball coach at Ensley High. Jackson's main complaint was that the school did not provide certain aspects of the girls basketball program that other programs at the high school had. The two main that he complained about were funding and the accessibility and ability to use the district's facilities. So, the plaintiff's argument in this situation, he says under Title IX, it says that the girls' team should get the same opportunities and equal funding as other programs. They should have the same access to facilities. They should have the same, amount of money to spend on equipment that is given to them by the school. And he said that wasn't happening. He said after he had brought this attention to some of the board, after that he had been getting bad observations or reports, and that resulted in him firing. Not that he was a bad teacher, not that he was a bad coach, because he had started complaining about these things and the board had decided to get rid of him. So that's what his argument was. It had nothing to do with being a good coach or being a bad coach. It was just that he had been complaining about the unfairness that was going on in the school. The defendant's argument. The school board argued that the plaintiff was an indirect victim of discrimination and thus not entitled to his damages. They said it wasn't about him. He shouldn't he's not the woman in this situation or the girls' basketball team. He shouldn't get the damages that have been happened. The board also argued that it was not liable for the damages because Title IX was enacted to pursuant to the cause clause of the United States Constitution, which requires that those receiving federal funds be given adequate notice that they could be sued for a certain situation. Just that they should know in advance. In Jackson, the board argued it had not been given notice that it could not be held liable for retaliated against people who had alleged against Title IX violations. So basically, the school board was saying that, this had nothing to do with the coach. It was a reflection of the observation reports they got, and that Title IX doesn't cover the coaches in this situation. It would just cover the act that they weren't getting as much funding and they weren't getting the accessibility to the facilities. The court findings in this situation, in a 5-4 opinion in the Supreme Court, which is really close, obviously 5-4. It's not very big landslide or anything like that. And it was delivered by Justice Sandra Day O'Connor, which some of you might know. The court held that Title IX allowed suits alleging retaliation for the reporting of sex discrimination. Such retaliation, and that was the main reason, constituted intentional discrimination on the basis of sex and the violation of Title IX. So they said Jackson therefore had a right under Title IX to pursue his claim in court. So they ruled in favor of the plaintiff in this situation. Very closely, 5-4, but they did rule in favor of him. In November of 2006, the Board of Education in Birmingham reached a settlement with the plaintiff, naming him head coach at another high school and paying damages. Um, the board also agreed to, various measures to make sure that they followed all Title IX restrictions, and something like this wouldn't happen again. Now, when it comes to a case like this and how it affects today's society and how it might affect me as an athletic director or a coach, this is like a good one because some of the other ones I've done have been 30 years old cases, and this one was, this is about 12 years now, 2005. It's about 12 years that it's happened, so it's not that old, so it's good to always learn from it. Athletic directors need to make sure they have extensive training and information on Title IX. I think the best defense is a good offense, so making sure that you're prepared for situations that come up with Title IX, that you are informed and you know what's going on when people start bringing up Title IX, not that you don't know anything about it. That's not going to be good for your program. They also need to make sure, athletic directors need to make sure all programs are treated equally, and that they get an equal, fair opportunity when it comes to the athletic department at their school, because let's face it, some programs get favored more than others. But under Title IX, the boys football team shouldn't get special treatment over the girls soccer team. They should have just as much accessibility to that, a field turf or anything like that. Now, the funding when that gets raised inside that program might be different. Yes, football might bring more money in because they raise it, but the money it starts out with, as far as the district, should be the same. And they have to make sure that happens, or they could end up getting sued. Same thing with scheduling. Like I said, we need to make sure our schedules are on point. Each coach and program gets an equal opportunity at scheduling facilities, because some of these schools, they don't have a lot of these facilities. They don't have 3 or 4 gyms. They don't have 2 or 3 football fields. They don't have a bunch of softball fields, baseball fields. So scheduling can be kind of tight. So I think that's the biggest thing to take away, is just be prepared, know what you're talking about with Title IX, and that just because it wasn't directly, now this ruling, gave a precedent that even though he wasn't a part of the girls basketball program as far as being a female, but he got fired because of sexual discrimination. So it goes a lot further than one might think. Thank you.